Magandang tanghali, Malacanang Press Corps, at welcome sa ating press briefing ngayong araw, August 22. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. led two sectoral meetings today. The first one addressed concerns on missionary electrification, where the President ordered the continuation of the expansion of our national grid by approving the inter-island connection of Palawan and Mindoro Islands. In addition, there are 125 standalone islands served by small power utilities groups. For these, the President ordered the exploration of renewable energy sources, not just limited to solar energy, but other green technologies as well. He ordered for all new renewable energy sources to be more holistic in outlook, to look beyond supplying power to households, and to support the growth of industries in the countryside. This is all in keeping with the President's goal to achieve 100% electrification, which he mentioned in his recent SONA. The second sectoral meeting focused on proposed amendments to the Government Procurement Act. And we have with us Budget Secretary Amenah Pangandaman to answer your questions on the proposed amendments to the Government Procurement Reform Act in detail. So good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, Ms. Daphne.
And let me start with a question, Secretary Pangandaman. The country recorded a slower GDP growth in the second quarter of this year. What are your thoughts on this, and what are the primary reasons for this?
Again, good afternoon. Good afternoon to our media friends. If you will remember po, during the time when NEDA Secretary R.C. Balisacan reported on our GDP growth for second semester, bumaba po siya. And much of the one contributor po kaya bumaba po yung ating GDP is yung government spending. So ano po ba yung bakit government spending? Based on our program po, we have a medium-term fiscal framework. Nakalagay po dyan lahat nung supposedly gagastusin natin at a given period of time. So for first semester po, first po, what is underspending? Underspending is defined as the difference of the program disbursements from actual disbursements. So if we will look at the data, for first sem of this year, meron po tayong negative na 170.5 billion pesos po. Meaning, the national government agencies po was not able to disperse 170 billion pesos po of available funds. Kaya po, bumaba po yung contribution po ng government spending to our GDP was reduced. Based on our data po, if we only were able to at least disburse 65 billion pesos, so meaning, hindi po negative 7 yung government spending natin, magiging 0 lang. Dapat po, ang ating GDP growth is 5.3%. So with that, you will see po kung gaano ka-importante yung budget that we provide for the national government and how important din po that the national government, the people from our government person are able to plan and implement the projects on time. So, yun po. So, with that, naglabas po tayo ng circular last August 9, directing all agencies to provide catch-up plans po para po they will be able to implement their projects moving forward. And among the recommendations po is that we need to amend the procurement GPRA, Government Procurement Act. So thus, if you know po, during the State of the Nation address of the President, PBBM, in line with his brand of transformative governance, urged the Congress to enact a new government procurement law to make it more attuned to these changing times. So today, we presented to the President and during the Cabinet sectoral meeting our proposed amendments to the Government Procurement Law. Please note po that Republic Act 9184 or the Landmark Government Procurement Reform Act was signed into law 20 years ago, last January 10, 2003. The GPRA was envisioned to address the lack of transparency and competition, eliminate collusion and political interference, and lessen delays in the procurement process. GPRA was one of the biggest anti-corruption laws in the country, which was in fact recognized by no less than the World Bank as a world-class legislation. However, there has already been rapid transformation in technology over the past 2 decades, and the pandemic propelled the urgency for digital transactions in the country. That's why our President is correct that we need to make government procurement more attuned to our changing times. Procurement affects us every day, not just us in the government, but the Filipino people. Procurement issues have an adverse impact in public service delivery. We have also been hounded by controversies linked to the Philippine procurement system. Of our total national government budget, up to 25% po dyan is done to procurement. So for this year, our total budget is 5.268 trillion. So it's roughly 1.3 trillion pesos. So it's quite a huge amount. These are the reasons that this reform has become necessary, albeit tedious. And so we hope that the creators of this very good law, by making it attuned and responsive to the needs of the day. I have here with me GPPB Executive Director Attorney Rowena Ruiz and PSDBM Executive Director Attorney Dennis Santiago and the DBM Chief of Staff Attorney Leo Larsha, who will give more details of our amendments. But generally po, yung amendments po natin, sorry, you have to bear with us dahil medyo makapal po ang GPRA, and then there's a lot of amendments na kailangan po, no. It was divided into 6 items. First, innovative procurement methods, meaning dinadagdagan po natin yung mga possible ways on how to procure. Sa dati po nating batas, although for those who knows, sa GPRA po natin, meron po diyang provision that the GPPB can issue IRR. So meaning kaya po niyang baguhin yung mga ibang provisions para po mag-adopt. But then I think marami na po doon ang kailangan nating i-institutionalize. So we will put it in the amendment. Second, efficiency in the procurement process. So, alam po natin na yung procurement process, parang napakarami pong mga steps na kailangan daanan yung ating mga BAC and members ng TWG. So, part of it, pwede po natin i-streamline yung proseso. Next, procurement planning and budgeting. Again, ito po, pinaka-importante, hindi po tayo makakapag-procure pag hindi po tama ang pagpaplano, ang market research natin para mabili natin yung mga goods and services. Pag hindi po tama ang pagpaplano natin, magre-result lang po yan ng failed bidding. Pag nag-fail bidding po tayo, tatagal, hindi po natin mabibigay kaagad yung serbisyo para sa taong bayan. Digitalization and innovation, of course, the use of technology, parang Lazada at Shopee po, later po explain nila kung paano yung concept nun. Green procurement, we will incorporate this to the law para po yung mga bibilhin nating mga goods and even services, no, may green specifications po. Kasama po to sa natin for sustainable development. And last po, there are miscellaneous provisions that needs amendment in the law. So maybe I can, ma'am, maybe I can give the floor to our 2 experts here. before we go to the questions po. Para magbigay lang po sila ng mga examples ng mga revisions natin sa law. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Hello. Yung pong amendment sa batas natin, ano, na lagi hong nababanggit, the lowest calculated responsive bid, doon daw tayo palagi sa lowest, sa cheap, pinakamura, pero hindi naman maganda. No? So we're looking at an area wherein we can advance this and improve, no, the evaluation methodology. We now call it the most economically advantageous bid or the MIB. No? Hindi po ito bago sa atin. Existing na rin po naman ito. Kaso nga lang, ginagamit siya sa consulting services procurement. Now, we will apply it to goods and even infrastructure where we'll make use of percentages. There's a certain percentage sa technical aspect. There's a certain percentage on the financial aspect. And you put them together, you have the highest rated bid, the most economically advantageous tender. Isa pong introduce natin, yung pong konsepto ng direct acquisition. Ano po? Sa mga maliliit na value na mga produkto na hindi naman ho kailangang ipabid pa. Minsan no, halagang 10,000, minsan may nagpapabid 10,000. So po pwede nung dumiretso dun sa source. Provided yung source po ay legally, technically, and financially compliant dun sa requirement ng procuring entity. This will put forth efficiency because yung mga bagay-bagay na dapat sinasubmit for competitive bidding ay hindi na po gagawin yun bagkus pupunta po ang gagawa po ang procuring entity ng sarili pong technical requirements and then will approach kay the appropriate market operator to provide the goods. Now, another modality po sa procurement will be yung tinatawag ko natin na unsolicited proposal, no, coming from the private sector. Narinig niyo na po ito. Minsan, maganda yung produkto namin ba't hindi nanalo? Maganda yung offer naming equipment, bakit hindi nanalo? So, this time around, private sector can come to government and then say, this is a good product, you may want to look at it, and then, of course, we will subject it to challenge. Ano po? Ito pong ganitong konteksto ay hindi na po bago sa atin dahil meron po itong ganitong pareho, no, na idea sa public-private partnership. Ano po? So, ito po yung mga bagay-bagay, ilan lang po, no, sa mga i-introduce nating mga amyenda dito po sa ating Republic Act 9184 or the Government Procurement Reform Act. So.
Okay. Anything you else want to?
Yes, good afternoon. Isa rin po sa, katulad po sa nabanggit ni Secretary kanina, we will be enhancing procurement planning. Wala pong procurement magagawa kung wala po tayong tamang pagpaplano. However po sa ating existing batas, isang provision lamang po ang meron sa planning. We want to make planning also strategic. Sa aming pong pag-aaral, ganun din po sa pag-aaral ng World Bank noong 2019, kadalasan po nagkakaroon ng failure ng bidding kasi hindi po tama yung pagpaplano. Minsan po kasi or kadalasan ng mga procuring entities, gusto lang po nilang makapag-bidding. So nagiging transactional po ang ating pagpuprocure sa gobyerno. Dapat po kasi ang bidding is strategic. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? Dapat po tinitig natin yung kabuuan ng ating pagpuprocure. So minsan po maririnig natin may na-procure pero sobra pala, nasisira, na-expire kasi walang tamang supply positioning. Ilan ba talaga yung kailangan ko? Kadalasan din po naririnig natin magpo-procure tapos later on wala na po palang supplies na available. So bibili uli po tayo ng bagong equipment, bagong bagay kasi hindi natin titignan yung kabuuan po nung ating ipoprocure. Kasama po dun sa mga tools and approaches na ilalagay natin sa batas ay yung paggamit din po nung mga nagagawa na po natin ngayon base sa mga inisyo ng GPPB na rules. Isa po dyan yung framework agreement na ginagamit na po ngayon ng DSWD. Ano po yung framework agreement? Basically po, meron tayong gustong bilhin, hindi natin alam kung kailangan, pero sigurado tayong kailangan natin siya. At the same time, very costly po sa atin kung tayo po ay magsa-stock ng mga items na yon. Kaya po ito ginagamit ng DSWD sa prepositioning ng ating mga relief goods. So ang mangyayari po, we can engage with one or several suppliers and then pag kailangan na natin, doon po tayo magkakaroon ng call-off. Gagamitin din po dito ay public bidding. Isa rin pong tool para mas maging strategic ang procurement natin, ito yung early procurement activity. I'm sure narinig na po niyo yun. Yung early procurement activity po, wala pa pong budget, basta meron na pong proposed budget, maaari na po tayong mag-start ng procurement. Kukumpletuhin po natin yung procurement short of award. Hindi pa po tayo mag-award hanggat walang approved budget. Bakit po? Para po, yung mga kailangan natin during the first quarter, even during the first semester, pag po napasa na yung batas, as early as the first working day, maaari na po tayong mag-award kasi meron na tayong budget. Yung pong bulk ng ating procurement activity, ginawa na po natin the year before. And siguro po, maganda rin pong madagdag as part of strategic procurement planning yung kailangan po nating i-professionalize ang procurement practitioners sa ating bansa. Napakalaki po nung binibigay nating responsibilidad at accountability sa ating BAC, TWG at Secretariat. However, alam niyo po ba na ang BAC, TWG at Secretariat ay add-on function lamang. Hindi po lahat ng mga ahensya ay may sariling procurement office or unit na pong gagawa ng mga procurement activity. No, ang atin pong BAC members, hindi po lahat nakaka-receive ng honorary dahil add-on lang din po yung trabahong ginagawa nila. So, dahil po high risk at very vulnerable po ang pagpo-procure, for obvious reason, kailangan po nating suportahan ng professionalization. Gagawa po tayo ng mga posisyon na nararapat sa procurement. Hindi po katulad ngayon na panay po admin officers ang posisyon sa procurement. Kailangan po meron tayong posisyon for planning, for selection, for inventory management, and of course, for the general management of the procurement activity. So yun po. Salamat.
And maybe si Attorney Dennis Santiago can also briefly give us a description of yung e-marketplace po natin.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Yung pong e-marketplace natin, but before I explain that, isa pa dun sa efficiency na gusto namin isulong, yung pong tinatawag na make it, yung eligibility requirement to make it more efficient. Dahil yung eligibility requirement natin ngayon, ang dami nagfe-fail sa bidding ng mga bidders because they failed to comply the legal, the technical, the financial eligibility. So this time around, we will simplify it. We have one document. It's happening already. We have the PhilJEP Certificate of Registration and Membership. Yung PhilJEP Certificate of Registration and Membership, pag sinabit ho ng bidder yun na po yung pinaka-eligibility qualification niya. So wala na hong reason bakit siya magfe-fail because registered naman siya sa PhilJEP. But of course, subject later on to post-qualification. Now, talking about PhilJEPs, marami pong features ang PhilJEPs. Merong virtual store, merong e-catalog, okay? Yung isa pong ipapasok po natin, yung pong tinatawag na e-marketplace. Ipapilot po natin yan soon sa mga motor vehicles. So, ilalagay ho natin yung mga sasakyan, kung ano-ano pong brand yan, kung ano-anong klase ng sasakyan, may limit po sa threshold, ang procuring entity po pwede pong bumili through the e-marketplace. Okay? Say for example, a secretary would like a certain brand, another secretary would like a different brand, pwede pong mangyari yun. Basta, pumasok po sila ron sa limit set forth by DBM, yung po tinatawag na yung pong threshold amount to procure the motor vehicle and compliant with dun sa technical requirement. So, mangyayari po ito as a feature of the PhilJEPs and then moving forward, hopefully, mga ibang produkto naman po ang maipapasok sa e-marketplace where procuring entity can directly buy. Ang mawawala po rito ay yung mahabang proseso ng pagbibid. Okay? Because they will buy directly from the e-marketplace. May mga produkto po na ilalagak po doon, coming po sa mga market operators or market suppliers, and then mga procuring entity doon na po bibili. Okay, we will have a mechanism to qualify kung sino po yung tamang produkto o ano po yung tamang produkto at sino po yung mga tamang suppliers. Okay. So in the next few days or few months, we'll come up with our guidelines on this. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, thank you for that brief. Shall we open the floor to questions now? Alvin Baltasar, PBS.
Secretary, Hi, Secretary. Magandang hapon po. Secretary, of course, daraan ito since amendment ang pinag-uusapan, daraan ito sa Kongreso. Ano pong take dito ng Congress? Nakipag-usap na po ba kayo sa Congress? Supportive po ba sila doon sa amendment?
Kung nakipag-usap po, many times na po na in fact we were able to attend sa House consultation, no, sa House hearings. And nabigay din po namin yung positions namin on their several amendments that they propose. But then po, during our meeting po with the President, we were directed to have a consolidated amendments to the existing GPRA po that we will present to House and the Senate. So, isusulat lang po namin ng maayos ito in a form of an amendment dun sa mga provisions, mga existing provisions, and then we will sit down with the House and Senate counterparts po.
Secretary, follow-up lang po. Doon sa underspending, kung halimbawa, ma'am, yung isang government agency, hindi pa rin nakakatugon doon sa tamang paggastos sa kanyang budget, ano pong mangyayari dito, Secretary Pangandaman?
Tatamaan po yung future budgets po nila, ang proposal po nila. But during our meeting last week with the President, nandun po yung mga agencies na, mga departments po na medyo hindi makahabol. And all of them naman po, they committed to the President that they will fast-track their the implementation of their projects and programs.
May ranking po ba tayo as far as absorptive capacity, Secretary?
Ay, meron po. Saan nga ba yun? Hindi ko nadala yata. Hold on. Ayun. Yeah. As of June 30, 2023, ito po yung 5 departments. DICT, ang obligation rate po niya is only 9.2%. COMELEC po, 26.1%. DAR, 28.9%. DSWD, 34.2%, and DOE with 34.3%. Yan po.
Salamat po, Secretary.
Okay, Alexis Romero, Philippine Star.
Secretary, just to clarify, yung 5 agencies you mentioned, those are the agencies that need catching up, meaning sila may underspending, tama po ba?
Sila po yung, at least yung nasa top, pero yung circular po na binigay natin, sa lahat po yan ng ahensya ng gobyerno.
So they are the top agencies in terms of underspending.
Yung obligation rate po nila mababa. Ibig sabihin, nabigay mo na po yung allotment nila, kumbaga yung SARO po, kasi pag meron ka na nun, pwede ka nang mag-bid. Malaking portion pa po nung pondong yon hindi pa po na-obligate, meaning hindi mo pa nabibid.
Okay. But how many agencies po yung may ganong problem, yung may underspending?
May ranking naman yan. Yung ibang agencies naman, matataas, pero may mga agencies na talagang below 30%. Pero wala pa namang agency na, well, kahit papano, naka 100% ng obligation rate. But then, if you look at it, on average, for all the agencies, it's 32% ang obligation rate as of June 30.
Okay, Sec, you mentioned yung mga proposed amendments. How exactly in general, how can these amendments cure yung problem na underspending in the government? Given that you mentioned it's one of the reasons why we had a slower growth during the second quarter.
If I may, Madam Secretary, yung pong efficiency kasi sa procurement natin, lagi yung sinasabi nila, mabagal ang procurement because ang mga bidders will have to prepare like documents, bidding documents. Mga bidders kailangan mag-comply sa rules. And then the procuring entity will have to develop technical specifications, terms of references. So, mahaba. And then merong procedures po under the law and the rules na kailangan sundin. So, dito po tinutukoy yung delay. Sa sobra daw haba ng proseso, matagal na deliver ang goods, matagal na deliver ang services. So with the proposed revision, we will make it more efficient. Like for example, the concept of direct acquisition. Mag-comply siya sa legal, technical, financial requirement ng agency, they can go directly to the supplier or the market operator to provide the goods. But of course, meron pong limit po yun, hindi po siya yung parang bibili ka na lang basta-basta because that will be subject to abuse. Meron po siyang legal, technical, and financial parameters that, that person, that supplier will still have to comply with.
At magbibigay ka yung sinasabi ng alternative modalities. Kasi parang ngayon, ang nangyayari, although pwede naman, may mga alternative modalities naman, pag bumili ka kunyari ng barko, yung same process ng pagbili mo ng isang barko, same process siya pag bumili ka ng isang typewriter or isang laptop. So, yung mga ganun po sa process ang ina-address po natin.
Okay. Sam Medinilla, Business Mirror.
Going back lang po muna dun sa proposed na amendment for the Procurement Act. Bale, meron na po ba kayong parang target date kung kailan mako-consolidate yung proposal nila na ipepresent po dun sa Congress? At saka kung meron rin po ba kayong, meron na rin po bang initial reaction si President Marcos dun sa mga proposal nila? If he supports it or meron pa po siyang gustong idagdag or ibawas dun sa proposal nila?
Siguro, we'll have to write the specific amendments per provision po. Just maybe give us 2 weeks. Opo, kailangan po ng technical writing doon. Siguro give us 2 weeks po para mag-come up na po kami ng mga specific amendments per provision. And yes, our president po agreed on our amendments, except for may mga ilang items lang po na because kailangan po natin intindihin yung ating presidente po nanggaling din po sa nag-local government unit po siya. So naintindihan po niya yung proseso ng procurement. So he was able to explain po anong mga areas nahihirapan yung mga katulad po ng mga LGUs at saka yung mga tao sa gobyerno when they procure. Ganun po. And then po si Presidente dun sa marketplace. Gusto po niya talaga ma-develop and ma-institutionalize yung parang marketplace po natin, yung e-government platform natin. Para pong Lazada or Shopee yung concept ng platform. Ganyan.
Job Manahan, ABS-CBN Online.
Hello po, Secretary. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Other topic naman po regarding sa fuel subsidy. Tumaas na naman po yung presyo ng gasolina ngayon. Kamusta na po yung yung pondo natin? Around 3 billion po ito, tama? Kailan po ito target na may pamahagi?
The funding is available. It's just that in the General Appropriations Act, kailangan pong maglabas si LTFRB ng, MOA, MOU, or? Joint Memorandum Circular, na wala pa po hanggang ngayon. So we are waiting for that. Opo, kailangan po namin ng kopya. Kasi nasa GAA po We cannot release without that.
Ivan Mayrina.
Yeah. May I follow up Job's question? Are there instructions from the President to fast-track this, given that the prices of fuel is on the upward trend and according to DOE, mukhang wala pa po tayong maasahang rollback in the next few weeks or even months?
Yes po. In fact, when Secretary Bautista called me last week, sinabihan na po namin siya that kailangan matapos na po nila yung yung JMC nila. And then, wala namang masyadong amendment dun sa JMC nila. I think they can use the previous JMC yata and then sign it and then submit to us. We will release the budget.
And the President, what does he have to say about this, ma'am?
Siyempre po si Presidente, pag gusto po niya, pag nasa budget nasa budget po, kailangan magamit kaagad. So, yun po. Sana po mailabas namin kaagad pag meron na po yung requirement per GAA.
Sorry, still on another topic. Kinwestiyon po yung pagtapyas ng budget ng DOH ng hanggang 10 bilyong piso. Pakipaliwanag po bakit nangyari ito?
Karamihan po, yung pagtapyas po ng budget ng DOH, karamihan po kasi doon puro mga amendments ng Congress po. Additional, meaning congressional initiatives po. Dinadagdagan po yung MAIP, dinadagdagan po yung HPEP, yung mga buildings and health facilities. So, non-recurring po yung nature niya.
Okay. Pia Gutierrez, ABS-CBN.
Ma'am, balik lang po dun sa issue ng underspending. Ma'am, aside from yung delays in the procurement process, ano po yung mga reasons behind the poor budget utilization rate ng mga agencies na nakita natin?
Ito po yung some of the reasons. May substantial outstanding checks recorded as of end June 2023 of 124 billion pesos per consolidated reports of government servicing banks. Meaning, possible po na ginawa na ng mga ahensya yung cheque or payment ng mga programa at saka yung mga kailangan nilang bayaran, pero hindi pa po siya na-encash. For yung reason po, hindi po namin alam. Possible na hindi pa nila nilabas, pero na pirmahan na nila, ganun po. Second, yung interest payments po, dahil bumababa na po yung interest payments, ito po yung bayad natin sa utang natin, bumaba na po yung interest payments, so bumaba na rin po yung binabayaran natin. One of the reasons din po. Tapos yung ongoing implementation of our social protection programs. Yung 4Ps po under DSWD and yung TUPAD program under DOLE. Next is yung procurement-related difficulties. There are failed biddings. Ongoing right-of-way and site acquisition and utility relocation. This is for our infra departments, specifically DOTR and DPWH. Billing concerns from suppliers and creditors. Example, UACTEA for CHED, FHE, Free Higher Education for SUCs, and TESDA projects and even NIA projects. Yun po.
Maricel Halili, TV5.
Hi ma'am, magandang hapon po. Ma'am, you mentioned kanina na meron pong input si Presidente when you were presenting the amendments. Can you cite some of the provisions that he would like to amend at saka kung ano po yung mga particular inputs niya?
Una po yung, of course, yung e-marketplace, no, para mapabilis at mapadali ang procurement natin. So that yung platform po na yun, doon po diretso bibili ang mga government agencies. Pangalawa po yung eligibility check, no. President agreed na simplihan yung eligibility checking natin because yun nga medyo tedious, maraming documentary requirements, mama, no. So this time around, President agreed with a single document, no. This is the PhilGEPS, the Philippine Government Electronic Procurement System Certificate of Registration and Membership. Yung pong konsepto ng allowing, no, the market to operate, no? Maganda ho yung konsepto ng Presidente. Ibig sabihin, i-allow ho natin yung market mag-provide ng prices nila. No? And then with that, tap that also as a source of information by government procuring entities in coming up with their own approved budget for the contract. Ano? Minsan ho kasi minsan wala pong face-to-face relation. Kumbaga, naglahanap lang sa internet, hahanap sa Google kung ano po yung kanilang presyo, anong technical specification, approach the market, no? Let the market play out and then let them be your partners.
Sir, follow-up po dun sa nabanggit ninyo kanina na kung mababa lang yung halaga, baka pwedeng i-let go na yung bidding. Base po dun sa inyong proposal, ano po ba yung, hanggang saan po ba yung kumbaga pwede nang i-let go yung bidding?
Apo. Hinahalin tulad po namin sana nung nilabas po yung RA 9184, no, ang shopping, ang threshold po niya 250,000. But you have to go and approach the market and secure 3 request for quotation. No? So, 3 po yun, no? Na iisa-isahin ninyo. Dito rin po sa direct acquisition na tinatawag namin, maaari rin pong mapeg sa 250,000 or even lower. Basta lang po maumpisahan siya, make the market feel, how it is. Kasi as a matter of fact, pag ganun po ang nangyari, baka tumukod din ho ang merkado. Sa dami ho ng demands coming from the government, a biggest purchaser po ang government 18 to 22% of your GDP is government procurement. So, pag nangyari po yun, kailangan po talagang ilimit yung budget because ang dami hong demands ng gobyerno, diretso bibili sa mga suppliers. We also have to check our market. So, it could be 250, it could be 100, it could be 50. It all depends on how Congress will act on this. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, MJ Mondehar, SMNI.
Morning, ma'am. I'll be asking this question in good faith. Even last year, yung sa abolishment po ng PSDBM, ngayon pong budget season, ano pong stand dyan ng Budget Department? Kasama po ba yan sa amendments ng procurement law?
Siyempre hindi. In fact, doon sa amendments natin, we will, magiging malaki yung role ng PSDBM lalo, especially for common use supplies. Kasi, in fact, si Secretary Benjok, may sinabi pa nga siya na yung mga maliliit na ahensya, sana wala na yung back, di ba? Wala na yung back kasi na bumabagal lang yung implementation ng mga programa nila. Masyado silang much of their time napupunta sa procurement, sa pagpo-procure. Usually naman, yung mga maliliit na ahensya, mga binibili niyan, yan yung mga common use So, pag available po yan, sa PSDBM, ang ating Central Procurement Agent or agency or office, pwede sila bumili diretso doon nang hindi na sila kailangan mag-undergo ng mahabang process ng pagpo-procure. Again, of course, dapat lahat ito, meron po tayong mga safety nets na nakalagay po dyan sa ating batas.
Alexis Romero, Philippine Star. Please pass the mic.
Papa-elaborate ko lang yung konsepto ng e-market. How is it similar to yung mga online shopping outlets? Paano po sila nagkakahawig?
Thank you for the question, sir. Actually, hawig na hawig. Pareho halos siya. Kasi, ang nakikita niyo yung efficiency sa merkado, you have the liberty, during the pandemic, you have the liberty to purchase directly from the source. Naging platform po si Shopee or si Lazada. So tayo rin po, ganun ang mangyayari. Ang PhilJeps through the e-marketplace feature, maglalagay po ng produkto ron yung isang supplier. But of course, meron hong mechanisms kaming gagawin. Para yung produkto naman na ilalagay doon, ay maganda, maayos, at kapaki-pakinabang. Alam din naman natin sa Shopee, sa Lazada, may nabibili rin kayong hindi maganda. So, as in PSDBM, ito po yung tatrabahuhin namin na yung papasok ng produkto doon ay maging maayos sa produkto at mapakinabangan ng mga government offices po natin.
So, undergo ba rin ng bidding? Paano po ito? Add to cart? Paano po yun?
Pwede pong sir, pwede pong may
voucher discounts.
Meron ganung features later on, But ngayon po, ang bumibili kasi diyan ay government agencies, maglalagak ng produkto, kahit pa consignment po yan, naka-consign yung produkto doon, tapos bibili ng government agency. Ang malaking bagay na dapat nating maintindihan is, hindi lahat ng produkto nila ay pwedeng pumasok doon. Because, kailangan yung produkto na binibili ng gobyerno, hindi lang maganda, maayos pati, at saka yung presyo, So, maaari later on, we will develop, we will advance towards, sabi niyo, may coupon, mayroong sort of all those stuff. But right now, we'll start with the basics, Ang kailangan ang platform na to, maayos na produkto mabibili, may kalidad, okay, angkop, no, at available, sabi po niya at available, angkop po sa pangangailangan ng gobyerno.
Salamat
Thank you
po.
Okay. One more? Alvin
Siguro
Baltazar.
maganda pag magandang amendment po dito sa procurement natin. Kasi lagi natin naririnig ang nagiging issue po ay yung bakit kasi lowest responsive calculated bid, 'di ba? Yun yung lagi. Even pag makikita nyo yung sa tama ba? Oo, lowest calculated responsive bid. Bakit laging lowest? Ngayon po, sa bago nating ginagawang amendment ngayon, meron na yung MIT, Most Economically Advantageous Tender. Meaning, posibleng, kasi yung kailangan ng tao, ng opisina, depende po yan. Posible pong si Ma'am Daphne, kailangan po niya ito ng mura. Pero yung isang ahensya po, mas kailangan niya panda. Yung isang ahensya kailangan po ganito kasi mas tedious yung gagamitin niya sa pagsusulat niya. So pwede po niyang gamitin yung isang avenue, which is yung MIT, rather than the lowest calculated responsive bid. Ayun. So, yeah, it will be mas technical yung magiging scoring mo ng mga produkto mo. Ganon po. Kunyari, sa tissue, kailangan ko kasi yung mas makapal eh. Yun, ganon. Kailangan ko yung mas maputi pa dito. So, ganon po. Nasa ahensya po, kung ano yung based on dun sa pangangailangan ng ahensya, pwede po niyang bilhin. Hindi lang dahil mura siya. Yun po.
Interesting examples, Secretary. Okay, Alvin Baltazar.
Secretary, pasensya na, pero kailangan ko itanong ito eh. Any update doon sa salary increase ng mga government employees? Magiging masaya ba ang mga kakunin ng pamahalaan sa 2024?
Si Attorney Leo Larsha po yung sasagot.
The study for the salary standardization law is lodged with the GCG, and most recent update, nag-fail po siya. So, magpapa-rebid po yung GCG, and hopefully we will have a study by October.
So, magiging maganda ang 2024?
Sana po. Sana po.
All right. We're good? Okay, so thank you so much, Malacanang Press Corps, and thank you, Budget Secretary Amena Pangandaman, Executive Director Rowena Ruiz, Executive Director Dennis Santiago, and Chief of Staff Leo Larcia. Magandang hapon sa